I have to have it in horizontal for some reason, in vertical rather, I think. Am I the right way round, Ellen? Let me see. I think I'm live now. Yeah, I'm live. Don't know why it's not letting me do that anymore. Keeps making me, how's that? Keeps making me go vertical for some reason. Not entirely sure why that is, but it is what it is. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Unusual for me to do a live on a Saturday, but I thought I would try my hand, see if anyone's up and about. Saturday morning here. I imagine it's night time in America. Just going to try and find my live so I can read the text. And I'm going to like it. Why not? There we go. We're here and we have 3 people. And hopefully now we have 2 people. Yep, we're there. No, Mike Thompson, I cannot go landscape. I do not know why. For some reason, when I set it up on the laptop, it is not letting me go live. Landscape, even though I am set on horizontal on my phone, it's not letting me do it. Don't get why, as you'll see now. If I turn it round, orientation is locked. Why is my orientation locked? I do not know. You see, so you're going to have that. So I'm going back again. Sorry, mate. We're just going to have to live with that, I'm afraid. It's something to do with setting it up on the laptop. Never used to do this, but for some reason now it insists on landscape. And it doesn't give me an option to change it. That worked. No, it didn't. I was sideways. I will try again. Jack Bites back. Hi, Jack. How are you, mate? Thanks for joining the chat. It didn't work. I went sideways. I was watching it on my laptop. So how are you chaps doing then? How is Mike and how is Jack? Mike can get over the disappointment of me being vertical in what do they call it? Portrait. I'm in portrait mode, aren't I? Yeah, sadly can't do anything about that, mate. 23 people. My God, we've hit the big time. I bet I won't keep them for long. Jack Bites back. Pretty good relaxing after work. And where are you relaxing, Jack? Where in the world are you? And what time is it where you are? Mike Thompson watching the footy. Of course, the World Cup's begun, isn't it? Well, who is it today? It's United States v. I've forgotten all about that. And you interrupted the football to talk to little old me. I'm touched. Who are America playing? It's the United States, isn't it, the opening game? Yeah, they're showing it in sideways at 9 o'clock. I forgot all about that. I wasn't going to watch. I could not. No offence to our American brothers, but I'm not particularly interested in how they do. Jack Bites back. US, unfortunately, LOL. It's 8:30 p.m. Whereabouts in the States? Because you've got those different time zones, don't you? Why, unfortunately? Would you rather be in the Philippines? Where else would you rather be, Jack? Mike Thompson. Paraguay. That's it, Paraguay. That's it. Hard to pick that one, isn't it, for winner? Who's the favourites? I will watch that after I've done this live. Yeah, it never occurred to me that I would be clashing with the World Cup. They're lucky they've got a 9 o'clock game. All the England games so far, I mean, obviously it might change if we make it out of the group, which of course we will. They're all 4 a.m. in the morning here. So I think we'll all be watching them down at the Octagon Bar. That's the only place I think that shows them that late out of hours. What's the score, Mike? Is it still, is it no score or is someone taking the lead? Bloody annoying that I can't get in landscape because it seems to bother some people. Doesn't bother me. I'll talk to any screen. But yeah, it's a strange one. If I set it up through the phone, then I can have landscape. So you might ask, why don't you set it up for the phone? Well, I did just then, the first one, but then there was no chat. And now there's no chat. People stop talking to me. One more load to the Yanks. Don't know what that means, mate. Oh, 1-0. Was it? I don't know. I don't know what that means. One more LO. Jack bites back. Buddy, it's a mess over here right now. LOL. I'm in the centre of the country, by the way. There you go. He's being mysterious. It's a big country. Centre of the country could be anywhere. Yeah, you do get a lot of disenchanted Americans on the streams and over here. Not surprised by the ones who are over here, because if they were happy at home, presumably they wouldn't be here. But yeah, I know prices are rocketing over there, I understand, fuel and things like that. Is the sound okay? No one's complained yet. Some user handle I will not even attempt to say, why did this show up on my algorithm? I have no idea why it showed up on your algorithm. I have no idea how Google works. I don't think anyone does. But if you don't like it, then feel free not to watch. Jack's Barback, it's expensive to leave and hard to get a passport. Sound is great. Well, I'm glad the sound is great. That is a relief, because I do have sound problems at the moment with the fans, or I do from time to time. Why is it hard to get a passport? I know things have got expensive over there, but what's the story with the passport? And if you could leave, would you? Oh my, it looks like it's translated. Where is that? Is it the US? No, I am in the Philippines, on the island of Negros, in Dumaguete. Where are you? It's strange with the algorithm. Sometimes it doesn't put you out, sometimes it does. I think because it's spontaneous and I haven't put a title or anything, it tends to pick up some strange accounts. Not saying that you're strange, but I did have a few on previous ones saying, what the hell am I here for? Why has YouTube brought me here? I don't think YouTube did bring you there. I think it might have flashed up. I doubt it took you out of what you were watching and took you to little old me, but I hear where you're coming from. So it's the Philippines. How's the weather? LOL. This is Korea. It's hot. It's hot. We're supposed to be in the rainy season. We did have some rain last week, and we did have a little bit of rain this morning, but it's still damn hot. Hot and humid. What's the weather like in Korea? Now you say Korea, I'm gonna go out on a limb now and say you're in South Korea. I doubt if you're in North Korea you would be watching my channel. I doubt if you're in North Korea you get YouTube. Well, we have radio silence, running out of things. Like, here we go. Jack bites back. You have to 2 different appointments and stuff, and the government makes private companies take your paperwork and then send it to them, and then they take months and months to give it to you. Do they really? That's not good. I've got a friend, an American friend called Sam. I've interviewed him before on the channel. He won't be happy to hear that. He's been a silly boy. He came around the house yesterday. He's just been back in the States, and one of the reasons that he was going back to the States was to sort his passport out because it was running out. But when he got back there, he found out that it was going to take 2 to 3 months, and he wanted to come back here. So he came back here without renewing his passport. Came round yesterday to pick up a suitcase I was storing for him while he was away. And he said to me, how do I get a new American passport? I said, I got no idea. He said, because I'm okay up until December, but then I'll have to renew it. I said, well, when does it run out? He says, it runs out in December. I said, are you serious? You're screwed. He goes, no, because I can extend. I said, you can't extend. You cannot extend if your passport's got less than 6 months on it. Which he didn't believe, but then he Googled it. So now he's right up the proverbial river without a paddle. He's flying to Manila on Sunday, I think. He's got an appointment at the embassy on Tuesday, but he's literally got a week left on his most recent extension. And he's only got 6 months left on his, less than 6 months now. He had literally 4 days more than 6 months when he came back in again. So I do not know how that's going to sort itself out. He's gonna have problems. I can't pronounce your name, my Korean friend, I'm afraid, so I'll just have to say our Korean friends. It's hot here too, LOL. Yes, this is the South Korea. Summer is about to start here as well. See, we're just coming out of summer. It's supposed to get cooler now over the next few months. Hopefully it will. Heat has never bothered me, really, but it is for some reason. I don't know if it's because it's very hot or because I'm getting older, but I've not enjoyed this last hot spell. Mike Thompson reminded me of one of my favourite films, Good Morning Vietnam. It's hot, damn hot. I thought the same thing when I said it. I was about to say it's hot, damn hot and wet, hot and sticky, to quote the film. Jack Spite's back. He needs to go to the US Embassy, probably. Yeah, he does. He does need to go to the US Embassy. And he's going. He's got an appointment booked for Tuesday, which apparently he had to pay for. I don't think you have to pay for appointments with the British Embassy. So, yeah, he's got the wheels in motion, but how quick he will get it, I do not know. So he's in a situation now. He hopes he's going to go there. He's going to get it as quick as he can and then expect to pay a fine because he'll overstay his tourist visa because he's only got like a week and a bit left. But I don't know how long he's going to get it. Is it still going to take him 3 months? Ridiculous. I hope he won't mind me saying it, but a bloody stupid situation to get yourself in. I think he was thinking about going down the lost route. He said he might lose it. That will speed it up. He might do, but then you've got the problem you've lost your stamp and it can be complicated over here. I've heard them charge people as much as 20,000 pesos just to put a new stamp in to transfer it from the lost one. But then you hear horror stories. You know, I don't know, but yeah, he will be, he's going to have a fun few days, weeks, months trying to sort that one out. And Jack Bites back. Yeah, hope they get him sorted. That's scary. Yeah, hell of a mess to get yourself into. I know they can give him an emergency one so he can fly or travel, but I don't know if they can give him a permanent one. But he keeps asking me for advice, and I keep telling him I'm no expert on passport renewals, and what little I do know pertains only to British passports. Now you're saying about these 3 months of checks. It does tally in with what he was saying because it said it would take him 3 months to get it back in America, which is crazy. I mean, in the UK, I think they say it takes like a month to 2 months to get it online, but you can just go to a local passport office, or at least you always used to be able to, and pay to get it done in a day. That's what I used to do. You go in, have your interview, you pay an extra fee for that, and then you pick it up in the afternoon. Jack Bites back. A bunch of Europeans over here for the World Cup, and they're struggling with the humid heat. LOL. I bet they are. But are there many Europeans? See, you don't know what's true and what's not because watch a lot of stuff on YouTube say no one's going. People are boycotting. Lots of empty seats. Prices have gone through the roof. The World Cup's going to be a disaster. But you often hear stuff like that. Be interesting to see how it pans out. Caesar 360, Balut Breath gets head of the line. Is that right? Jack Bites. Oh my God, a passport office. I don't think we have those. Yeah, you got lots of those in the UK. I say lots, there's a few. I know if you're in Wales, you have to go to Newport. If you're in England and you're around the home counties, there's one in Peterborough. But they're quite good. I've been to the one in Peterborough. I've been to the one in Wales. Yeah, it's very easy. You just go in, you get a ticket, you have like a 5-minute interview with someone, and then you go away, have a coffee, spot a lunch or whatever, you come back in a few hours and you pick it up. I imagine they're still doing that. And I don't think it was that much more expensive. If memory serves me right, I could be wrong. It's 10 years since I did my last one. I think it was like £75 to do it online, or it was £125 to go and get it done in a day. So maybe double the price, but not big money and very convenient. Jack bites back. There's not as many as expected, but football is football. Folks still come. Yeah, I imagine they will. And I imagine if it's like, if they can't sell the seats, we'll just have to drop the prices. Kids for a quid, as they say in the UK. Try and get them in, because they don't want empty seats. Does not look good on the television. Simon Kendall, when I got my passport damaged in the typhoon, I paid 6K for the stamp transfer. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's a complicated thing, and it's very varying in prices. I've been told by people who are knowledgeable people. One guy has been about 30 years. Reckons if you go to Manila to the airport, you don't have to pay to transfer the stamp, but you have to go the day before. I got a very good friend, an English friend, who had to pay 20,000 to get it done. Got another good English friend who went to a visa agents in town, not the most famous one. Can't think what they're called, but it wasn't JRC. And I think they charged him 10,000. So some people will tell you it's free. Other people will tell you it'll cost you 20,000. Other people will tell you it costs 12,000. You're telling me it cost you 6,000. So who knows? That's the Philippines for you, folks. Different day, different person, different price, different rules. Colm Farrell, welcome, Colm. Glad you could make it. When do you move to Vietnam? We're not planning to move to Vietnam. That has, I don't know if it's been binned or it's been put on the back boiler, but with the pets, the kitten and the dog, that put the kibosh on that. And I was having second thoughts anyway. And Ellen has decided that we will not go until the pets are a problem, but she wants to wait until Kayla's in university. And as I say, I don't think I want to go now. I think Vietnam's going to be a destination of choice for holidays. Really wanted to. I don't know if it's like, my brain trying to convince myself that I don't want to go because of the cats and the problem with Kayla. Well, it's not a problem. I was planning on bringing Kayla over with us. I was looking at private schools and things. But as attractive as it seemed when we first got there, after about a month of being back here, I'm happy in Dumaguete. Got my routine. I'm getting old. I'm setting my ways. Have to start all over again in Vietnam. But we may do in the future. Plus, you got the fact you can't get a retirement visa over there. So, Simon Kendall, but the passport took 2 months because it was Australia, not the US. Still, it cost me around $650. See, that's the trouble I've got. My passport runs out in July next year, so I'm still well within the 6-month marks. I've spoken about this before, but the problem is I might have to fly back to the UK to get it done, because they say I all go to the embassy in Manila. I have to look at it, because you can post it. You can post your passport, get it posted from the UK, but you've got to send your old passport back. I do not know why. Bloody ridiculous, if you ask me. And it can take up to a couple of months. Well, I can only get 2 months visa extensions. So if they don't send it back, it gets lost. I'll be in the same situation as Sam is. Don't understand why you've got to send it back. But I will have to do some serious research on that. But maybe I'll go back for a visit. I don't know. But I don't really want to go all the way back to the UK to renew a passport. It's a hell of a lot of travelling. But then the flip side is I'll get to see some family and friends. I don't know. Why they can't just send you the passport over here and then you send it back is beyond me. You send in the old one after you've received the new one. 650 Aussie dollars. That's about £325, roughly two Australian dollars to the pound. That is a lot more than the UK. It's £125, including the courier. Rob Sampson, hello from Pikeville, Kentucky. Hello, Rob. How the devil are you? Nice that you could join us. What's the word on the street in Pikeville, Kentucky? Colin Farrell, can't you just deliver the passport to your parents' house? Yeah, but what would be the point, Com? Because you've got to send your old one back. If I did that, that would just delay things even more because they'd have to send it to my parents' house and then they'd have to send it to me. You know, it's the fact that you've got to send your old passport back that is the problem. And I cannot see the logic behind it because what if you're traveling for work? What if you're in the middle of traveling around? You know, you can't send your passport back. Crazy. I think it's going to be a case of maybe go to Manila and get a 6-month visa and then send it back because I should get it back within 6 months. But I just cannot see the logic when you're out the country why you have to send your passport back. Because they'll say, oh, don't worry about your visa, we'll send it back to you. And then you just go through the airport and show them your old cancelled passport with your visa. They stamp that. And, you know, all this good advice, but why do you have to post it back? I thought I'd go down the route saying I'd lost it, then you don't have to send it back. But a couple of people have told me that's a nightmare because when you try and leave the country, your old passport hasn't been cancelled. Then you've got 2 passports which are active, which they say is illegal. But I know it's not because if you're a diplomat or certain circumstances, you're allowed to have 2 active passports if you travel a lot. Yeah, it's a strange one. Colin Farrell reported lost or stolen. Well, yeah, mate, I've just answered that one. That was something I was thinking of. That is certainly something Sam's thinking of. I think he's going to go and see what the embassy say first. Because traveling around the Philippines isn't a problem. I can use my ACR card on my driving license. And I'm not planning on leaving the country. But yeah, there's no easy way around it. Because I say sending it to my parents wouldn't really help anything. It would probably slow it down. It would slow it down. You know, but yeah, it's a strange system. Jack Bites back might be a nice excuse to go back to visit for holidays if you like that. Yeah, well, I would make the most of it. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I was saying to Ellen, you know, maybe it's a cue to go back because I haven't seen my parents and their health isn't as good as it was. And, you know, I can go through all the rigmarole of doing it, getting it sent over there. And then someone gets sick a few months afterwards. I've got to go back. You know what I mean? I might as well. Maybe it's just that I think I probably will end up going back at this rate. Rob Sampson at a hotel and got your notification. Mini vacation. Really? Are you? That's nice. How long away for? I will be looking forward to the Facebook photos. Confire, I generally lost mine and it was easy. The embassy just issued me a new one. Is that right? You just went to the embassy and got a new one. Was that in the Philippines? Because I've only ever once lost my passport, and that was in Holland. And I went to the embassy there, and they couldn't give me a new one. Or they certainly couldn't give me a new one straight away. But what they did give me was a piece of paper saying I had lost my passport. Now, I was going back on the ferry because I had my car. So that wasn't really a problem because you didn't need photographic ID. I'm not sure whether that would have been a problem if I tried to fly because I didn't have a photographic driving license in those days. They said it might be a problem, it might not be, but I got the ferry anyway. But they did it in a day. That could be the way forward. But then you still got the problem with the stamp, haven't you? I don't know. Colin Farrell, but that wasn't the Philippines. Well, there you go. That makes a big difference. Scamper, 2 active British passports and an Oz. Do you really? How do you have 2 active UK passports? Is that because you're traveling a lot? Because I know you can request that. I know when I first looked in it, because I thought about doing it, because I used to have an Irish passport, but I let that lapse. So I had a British and an Irish, and it was very convenient. Colin Farrell, actually, the embassy issued me a letter to give to immigration. Okay, as well as your passport, explaining that you lost it. That's good. Yeah, the lost route seems like it could be the easiest route to go. Paul 8612, how the devil are you, Paul? Good that you could join us, mate. Going through the same issue from Australia. I told them I destroyed mine. I was told to tick the box stating I'd never had one. I was gobsmacked, but this is true. Only spoke to them on Thursday. They said never had one. But surely it says on, that's bizarre. Surely it says on the computer that you've had one. There we are. Cole Farrell, immigration transferred the stamp once they saw the letter. Did they charge you for it? John Murphy, 3235. I really enjoy your channel. Hope to get to the Philippines next year. Well, I'm glad you do, John. That is lovely to hear. And thank you for joining us. It's always nice to hear someone likes the channel. If you like the channel, smash the like button. There you go. Welcome to the chat. Where will you go if you come to the Philippines next year? Bob Sampson, visiting family, 4 states in 2 days, driving through 4 states in 4 hours. Is that possible? I have driven through a number of states in on trips and things. Never done any in 4 hours. It took me a bloody long time. I think the last time I went for a fly drive, I drove from Nevada to Key West, and it took a bloody long time to go through Texas. We went through New Mexico first, then we went through Texas. Where do you go? I can't remember now. I'm gonna get distracted if I try and go through it all in my head. Right, where are we going? Paul, they said it was issued prior to 2000 and therefore not on digital record. Well, there you go. Wow, not on digital record. That's bizarre. They can't have records of. One of your countries are like that, and they go all digitalised and then they lose things and all the rest of it. I used to spend a lot of time in America, and it always used to blow my mind. You'd arrive, because I was living in Vegas, and I'd fly into Florida or somewhere like that and then travel down to Vegas. And they'd say, is it your first time in the States? And you'd think, well, no, it's not. I've been loads of times. And I'd say, just out of interest, I was flew into Las Vegas 3 weeks ago. Does your system not show that? And apparently then, the States didn't share information on arrivals and things, which I thought was bizarre, because that was when they were cracking down on. They're cracking down now, but terrorism was a big concern for them. So I thought it was bizarre that the States didn't share the information regarding who had been where and all that. I'm sure that must have changed now. Colm Farrell, no, immigration didn't charge me anything. They just checked for my stamp code on their computer system. Wow. And that was in the Philippines. That's good. That's good. Rob Sampson from SC, NC, Tennessee, Virginia, in Kentucky. See, I wonder if I go to the embassy, if they'll give me a letter. If I do it that way, you know, go to the embassy, maybe they give you a letter for immigration. I don't know. I don't really want to go to Manila. I'm not a fan of Manila. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers, can they? You know, it is what it is. Rob Sampson from SC, NC, Tennessee to South Carolina. I'm guessing SC and NC is South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, into Kentucky. Mike Thompson, half-time. Do you want to know the score? Yes, I do. What is the score, Mike? Rob Sampson, tomorrow, maybe in West Virginia. Been to Tennessee. Have I been to South Carolina, North Carolina? I have to work it out. I worked out once. I've been to 27 states, but I forget which states I've been to. Colm Farrell, no, that was in another ASEAN country. Oh yeah, well that's the difference, isn't it? I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. As we all know, the Philippines is a rule unto itself. I wouldn't be so sure that works over here like that. Hopefully it does, but I'd be surprised. Things are generally not as smooth here in the Philippines, as you well know. Simon Kendall, yep, it's a thing nightmare, and they are full of shit. I was supposed to get a free one because of a natural disaster, and they demanded letters from the barangay captains and shit, so I just paid. It doesn't surprise me, mate. Mike Thompson, 3-0. 3-0 to the USA? Bloody hell, that's impressive. Paraguay on a bad team. Or 3-0 to Paraguay. 3-0 to Paraguay. I might rush down to Sideways and gloat at the American faces. Nothing against our American brothers. It's just how it is in football. It's the way the culture works. And Rob Sampson, West Virginia is across the river from my hometown. There you go. I'll have to look on the map. Mike Thompson, Seppos. I don't know what that means. Elaborate. Seppos. Oh, septics. Got ya. I worked it out myself. Wow. They're going to be loving that. 3-0 against Paraguay at half time. Good Lord. We don't give the American team enough credit, I don't think. I mean, they're not great, but they're better than, we often give them credit for. I mean, I watched America play England in Key West, and it was a draw. We thought we were going to smash them. I was looking forward to it. I thought, well, I'm going to enjoy this. Put 4 or 5 past them. No, we were lucky. I don't know if you remember that game. Rob Green, he was a West Ham player at the time. He had it go straight through his legs. Awful goalkeeping. And he was a good keeper, Greeno. He's one of the best. I suppose our all-time best would be Phil Parkes. Broke the world record when we signed him. And then Ludo. Everyone loves Ludo. But since then, you'd have to go a long way to have a better goalkeeper than Rob Green at West Ham. One in saying that David James wasn't bad. And we've had some good goalkeepers over the last few years. And we've had some terrible ones as well. Joe Hart was awful when he signed for us, and I thought he'd be good. Colin Farrell, the manager, is what makes a difference, not the team. Can make a huge difference. But then sometimes you do get managers, the teams perform in spite of him. But yeah, you're right. Scamper 2, I did the visa extension. They asked double the price I was expecting in the PH. I asked for a seat and they dropped off 3,000. LOL, makes you wonder. Is that right? That's one of the strange things about Dumagetti Passport Office. You don't get a receipt. You give them the money, you give them your passport, you get nothing. I've asked them for a receipt, they don't do them. So if they lose your passport, there's no record you ever went there or did anything. I mean, fortunately, they haven't lost mine, and I've never heard of them losing a passport. But yeah, it's not much help if you don't if you do lose it. I mean, use one of the visa agencies, they give you like a receipt and a stamp and all the rest of it to say they had it. But yeah, immigration, nothing. You just trust them. And they're lovely people. Unfortunately, there's never been an issue. But I find it very strange that you don't get a receipt. You don't get your change half the time. Got back last time, I didn't get my change. It was only 50 pesos. I didn't ask. I thought I don't want to get a reputation of being, whether they forgot to give it to me or not, I do not know. I think she was a new woman, but yeah, I don't ask for it. I mean, it's never much. Put it in their tea fund and remember me next time. Oh dear, this is not good. The chat has dried up. Talk to me, fellas. Talk to me. Yeah, I'll find out what Sam's doing today because we're having dinner with him tonight. He was talking about travelling on Sunday. I know he's got an appointment booked for Tuesday. Because I said to him, why don't you go to immigration first and ask them? They might, the fact you've still got 6 months, they might give you a 2-month. Actually, they'd only give him a 1 because he's just got back in, wouldn't he? I don't know. Anyway, so it's too late because he's already booked his appointment, which I say he had to pay for, which I find strange. May have changed, but I'm pretty sure you don't have to pay for an appointment at a British embassy. It would be a cheek if you did. I mean, it's funded by taxpayers' money. Colin Farrell, for the US specifically, I mean, it's the first time they had a top manager. Who's their manager? Who is their manager? I didn't know they had a top manager now. Who have they got? Be interesting to see how Thomas Tuchel does for England. I know a lot of people are saying we can win it, but they always say that. England job seems to be. So you say it makes a difference. It's the manager, not the team. But my God, the England job is a graveyard for managers. We've had some good managers, and they've done sod all. And then we've had some crap managers, and we've done all right. I mean, I was not a fan of Southgate. Everyone keeps saying how well he got us to a semi and he got us to a final and all that. It was the draws. It was the draws. We were very lucky in the draws. He was a terrible manager, in my opinion. Nearly any of the previous England managers, if they'd had a draw like that, in terms of the teams we played, we'd have won it. Soon as Southgate came up against anyone decent, that was it. We were finished. John Murphy, what city would you recommend for a new guy to start with in the Philippines? Um, well, as I've said many times, my friend, I am no expert on the Philippines. I haven't been to many places. If you're talking about the start for a holiday, um, then I wouldn't necessarily start. I mean, it depends whether you are asking. You have to clarify. Are you asking for somewhere to live? I'd recommend Dumaguete. I mean, it's popular for a reason. I don't like Cebu. I wouldn't want to start living in Manila. If you're talking about a holiday, um, I don't know. Like you wouldn't want to start in a city, would you? You're going to want to go to the touristy places. I mean, if you talk about a holiday, I mean, I suppose Manila would be a good place to start, or Cebu, because you're invariably flying there. You might want to have a few days to look around in case it is for you, because some people like Cebu City. I can't stand the place personally, but some people like it. There is an expat community there. Um, I can't stand Manila, but there are some people. So if it's a holiday, I suppose have a first few days in. Depends what you're looking for. But I mean, if it's a holiday and you're only here for a limited period of time, I imagine you're going to want to go to, I don't know, Boracay, Palawan, the touristy places, Siargao. I don't know, mate. Depends what you're thinking of doing. If you elaborate, I will try and give you a bit more advice. But as I say, I've not been to many places. I've not done a lot of traveling since I've been here. I've been to Manila, wasn't a fan. Been to Cebu City, wasn't a fan. Been to Maul. I never know how you're supposed to say that. Everyone says it differently. How do you say Marlborough, Ellen? Marlborough. Been there twice. It's okay. Um, Obviously, I spent a lot of time in Sikihor. Sikihor's a nice place for a few days. Can't unfortunately advise you any more than that, mate. Uh, Mike Thompson, look into what you need for your passport. Saying it's lost sounds doable. Um, yeah, well, the doable bit. I mean, the reality is, if I send it back, I don't know. It's better. I mean, yeah, I could say it's lost, then I get my new one back, and then send the old one back. I could still say it's lost. You know, yeah, I don't know. I will do some serious research. I have to because I'm running out of time. I mean, I've got up until January to go back if I have to, but I won't leave it that long. I'll make a decision before then. But I did do a bit. I looked online. I looked at the options, and none of them. It's all swings and roundabouts, really. I mean, it doesn't seem to be any benefit from another one. I mean, it's like you still need to get your new passport. I think it's either going to be fly back home. Well, anyway, I don't know. We will, and food for thought for another live stream when I've made a decision. But um, a lot of people here have advised me against going down the lost route. Doesn't mean they're right though, and they're British or Europeans. Simon Kendall, I think he goes to an agency. I use RJ, but would expect he will need to pay at the agency. Who? Who are we talking about? I've noticed. I shouldn't say this because I'm friends with the other agency, so I'm not going to mention their names, but the more popular one. But RJ do seem to be cheaper. But no one goes there. I've never seen people in there. The other one, which I'm not going to name them because he's a good guy. I know him quite well now. And he sponsors the Sideways event and things. So I'm not. Anyway, RJ does seem to be cheaper. Simon Kendall at the embassy. An agency at the embassy. I'm getting confused now. Colin Farrell. They have Pochettino. They got Pochettino. Now he's a good manager. Yeah, you're right. I knew that actually. God, the things you forget. Yeah, no, Pochettino is a good manager. But then so's Tuchel. It's. I mean, Pochettino was good at Spurs. Paul, does anyone remember Wolfie Smith from the Tooting Popular Front? Maybe your audience is too young. Of course I do. Up the people, yeah, doing that Citizen Smith. Yeah, I remember Citizen Smith very well. Was it Power to the People he used to shout, wasn't it? From the beginning. Who was the actor who was in that? Lindsay. Robert Lindsay, is that his name? Yeah, I remember that. Paul 8612, famous British comedy from the 70s, always wore the Red Star Brigade badge. You had to be there. Yeah, see, is that what has given you the is that what's jogged your memory? Yeah, I remember Citizen Smith. Wolfie. What was it? That's what the woman used to call him, wasn't it? Was she the mother or was he lodging? I can't remember. But yeah, I think I've spoken about this before. I got someone was very kind. I never know if they're watching the lives. If you are, thank you very much again. But yeah, some guy inside came into Sideways. All I know is he was British and big, and apparently he came in a few times looking for me, and I wasn't there, sadly. And he left a box of trivia cards, which were English 70s TV shows, and it was brilliant. Ellen loved testing me on it, and it really brought back some memories. I think the idea was he left it so I could do it for the quiz. But the problem with that was they're all British questions, and we have a really mixed bunch there. You know, I would love to do it, and the British players would love it, but it would be lost on the Filipinos and the Americans and the Europeans, I fear. And it's a mixed bunch. I mean, you know, so I was saying in the last video, people were saying, who wants to mix with people that, you know, you can mix with in your home country? You can't. I mean, off the top of my head, I'd say there's probably about 7 or 8 Americans there on an average quiz night, 5 or 6 Brits, few Germans, 9 or 10 Filipinos. You know, it's a mix. You can't really do anything that's specified purely for Brits. Paul, you know, I always comment on your t-shirts. Indeed, you do, brother, and you have boosted my confidence in my Fred Perrys. I know, yeah, I know you do, mate, and it's appreciated. But as I said the other day, fortunately, I am tied to Vietnam wear at the moment because it's the only stuff I can fit in that's not too tight. Or some of my sports tops. Frankly Bryan, welcome on board, Frankly. Frankly Bryan, was it Freedom to Toot and he used to shout? I know he used to do, but it was proud of the people on the credits, wasn't it? Frankly Bryan, Leonard Rossiter in Rising Damp, one of the greatest ever commit performances. Yeah, I used to like Rising Damp. I used to love Steptoe and Son. I used to like Hancock's Half Hour. But obviously that's a bit before my time, but I still like watching, you know, you know, on YouTube and that. Yeah, there were some good comedies. I think my favourite is, without a doubt, Dad's Army. Still find that funny. Still quite don't mind Are You Being Served? But it's amazing how many of them have not travelled well. I used to love 40 Towers, but watch it now, doesn't do it for me. It has not aged well. But Dad's Army, that's timeless, timeless. I was never really a fan of Only Fools and Horses, but it has grown on me. At the time, I could never really see it, but now it's a bit like comfort food. It's comforting. It reminds you of your past. Paul 8612, most of them too un-PC for air now. Shame. Yeah, but a lot of the un-PC ones we say, I don't think they were particularly funny these days. I watched Mind Your Language episode a few months ago. Nah, not. Comedy has changed, I think. There's very few of the comedies that can transcend it. But the good comedies were always like, you know, they were dark, weren't they? It was black humour. You know, Steptoe and Son, it made you laugh. It almost made you cry. You know, you got to have a bit of yeah, you got to have a bit of tragedy for a good comedy, I think. Scamper 2, hello, TV rerun. Yeah, hello was hilarious. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, that was good. On the buses was good as well, classic. Yeah, that hello was very good. I'm just thinking, why weren't there any in the cars? But that was the 80s, wasn't it? That wasn't the 70s. That's why there wasn't any questions in the in that trivia box. But yeah, hello was very good. I feel sorry for any Americans in the old chat now because they won't know what the hell we're talking about. But yeah, Simon Kendall, okay, mate, take care. Got to run. There you see. There you go. We've lost an Australian. Yeah, have a good day, Simon, mate. Enjoy your weekend. Be lucky. I should have asked, are you back in Oz now? Didn't you say you're back in Oz? Or you're about to head back to Oz? I can't remember what you said on your message the other day. You're either back there or you're heading back. Well, if you're back there, enjoy your time back in the motherland. If you're about to go, safe journey, mate. What else was good from the 70s? Never Like Love Your Thy Neighbour. George and Mildred was all right. Remember that? George Roper. Don't know. I haven't watched that in a long time. Don't know how well that's travelled in time over the years. Paul 816. I'm representing Brisbane. Representing Brisbane. So I was about to say I have never been to Brisbane, but that's not surprising because I've never been back to Australia. You're doing a damn fine job of representing Brisbane, Paul. Frankly, Brian, critics say that many British comedies feature losers, whatever that means. Rigsby was a very lonely man. Howard Steptoe was a trapped, frustrated man. Yeah, yeah, it does annoy me, this business of losers. You know, yeah, Americans do, not all Americans, but they do have a tendency to say that someone, if they got less money, is a loser and all. Load of bollocks. I know some right arseholes who've got money. I know some fantastic people who haven't done as well financially. And a lot of them, because they don't chase the pounds. Doesn't make you a loser because you got less money than someone else. But yeah, Howard Steptoe, yeah, he was a very frustrated. He was a sad man. Life hadn't worked out for him. Leonard Ross, yeah, lonely, yeah. You know, Del Boy, he'll be a millionaire by Christmas. I mean, that's part of the comedy, isn't it? Rob Sampson, have a good day. Early start tomorrow, driving in the mountains. Well, good luck with your drives, Rob. Wonderful that you could join us, mate. I do appreciate you supporting the channel. Rob has been watching for years, commenting for years. It's much appreciated. I hope the talk of the old English sitcoms isn't what drove you away. I'm drinking a Diet Coke today. I have had a couple of migraines. I had a migraine on Monday and I had a migraine last night. And I don't really suffer from them anymore. I used to when I was younger, but I've decided I've been drinking a hell of a lot of coffee recently. So I'm cutting down on the coffee. Hopefully that will do the trick because I do not want to go back to my migraine days. They are very debilitating and basically ruin your life. It's not the same drinking a mug of Diet Coke as it is drinking a coffee. But I had about 6 or 7 coffees yesterday at least. And then last night, Ellen wanted to go out. I'm vlogging it, so you'll see it in the vlog. But we went to a coffee shop in Towns in the evening. Can't abide coffee shops, but it was quite a nice cappuccino and had a venti. So maybe that was something to do with it. I don't know why that would have triggered me on Monday. But yeah, Ellen wanted to have this thing, which was called, what was that thing you wanted to have last night? No, what was the thing? No, what was the thing you ate? She wanted honey cheese bread. She'd been banging on about this honey cheese bread, and what my queen wants, my queen gets. So I took her there. And my God, it was the strangest thing you've ever seen. She showed me these pictures, and she'd had a cinnamon one before. But it was literally cheese on toast. 2 thick slices of bread, really thick. I'd say smothered in cheese, but they weren't smothered in cheese. You could say sprinkled with cheese. I don't know what cheeses they were. I think one of them was probably mozzarella and one was cheddar. And it was sprinkled with, smothered in honey. Honey, would you believe? Honey and cinnamon. It was cheese on toast. Covered it. It was the strangest thing. I mean, it was all right, but no. I mean, why, God's name, they would want to do that? But yeah, cheese on toast, sprinkled with sugar and honey. They have some strange taste in the Philippines, I tell you. Colm Farrell, do you drink instant coffee? Yes, I do drink instant coffee. I'm a cheapskate with cheap taste. Can't be bothered making real coffee, decaffeinated, filter coffee. Frankly, Brian, how about some of the topical satirical stuff like Not the 9 o'clock news? Not the 9 o'clock news was good. Yeah, I used to like that. I used to like the last Smith and Jones as well. Colin Farrell, 7 cups isn't that bad as instant coffee isn't as strong. Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. See, the thing is with migraines is you never know what triggers them. When I was a kid, God, the stuff the doctors told me it was chocolate. I avoided chocolate for years. And it turned out it wasn't. I can eat chocolate now. Can you let our puppy in, please, sweet pea? I don't want the puppy. Puppy wants to come back in. He'll cause havoc now. She hates the dog, unfortunately. She groaned when I said let him back in. But whenever I do get them, which is like, maybe once or twice a year, I had a period of 10 years I didn't get them. I put it down to the coffee. So I lay off the coffee and they seem to stop. But then I forget I'm laying off the coffee and I start drinking it again. And I'll go like 6 months and I won't have one. So probably the coffee's got nothing to do with it. I mean, at the end of the day, you never really know what triggers them. No one does. Is the dog back in? Hello, doggy. Frankie Bryan, the young ones. Yeah, see, there's one, the young ones. I thought that was brilliant. And it was groundbreaking. I mean, it really did set, a trait. You wouldn't have had that. I've heard comedians say, like Ben Elton, you wouldn't have had the Far Show and things like that if you didn't have the young ones. And at the time, I loved the young ones. I watched an episode a couple of years ago, didn't even bring a smile to my face. Take away the nostalgia, it was not timeless. But it might be for some people, but not for me. Not for me. Trying to think of some old American comedy shows that were good, that are timeless. But I mean, Americans do seem to have, they have a very different sense of humour to us, don't they? I mean, American shows. But I like some American shows. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love, there are some good ones. I mean, I didn't mind Friends. I never loved it as many other people. I love Seinfeld. And I think my favourite American comedy I'm gonna take a long time to explain this. I can't remember what it's bloody called. What's the Larry David one? Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. But I think that's quite British in its sense of humour. American Office is good, not as good as the British Office, obviously. How could it be? It's not got Ricky Gervais in it. But there are some good American comedies. I have watched the odd. I used to like Third Rock from the Sun as well. That was good. That was good. Third Rock from the Sun. I've seen the odd episode of what's that one with the geeks and that blonde girl? Big Bang Theory. That's not bad. And I used to love King of Queens. Used to watch King of Queens. That was good. So they've got some good American comedies, but they're not 70s, are they? I was never into the Golden Girls. As a kid, I used to what's that one? Different Strokes. I used to love that as a kid. Watch it now. What a load of crap. Here we go. We've got some American ones. Here we go. 48612, not wanting to drag the tone down, but 5 years post prostatectomy as of Thursday, now going from 6 months to yearly screening. All's good. Could have been different. Well done, mate. That is fantastic news. I'm incredibly happy for you. Not quite sure what a prostatectomy is. Does that mean they removed the whole thing or just part of it? Never heard that term before, I don't think, prostatectomy. Please elaborate. That's interesting. As you know from the channel, it has been suggested to me that I have my prostate lasered, reduced in size. I don't think I'm going to do it, but yeah, I've heard of making it smaller. Is prostatectomy when the whole thing comes out? Is it like terrible my words when I'm on lives? I can't think of it. It's what do they call it when they remove the breast? But have they taken the whole thing out? Is just elaborate? It's interesting and fantastic that you have had 1 year screen. That's amazing, mate. Planet Jonesy, love me. Moccona Classic Medium. Oh, we're talking about coffee. I was thinking we're talking about TV shows. Love me Moccona Classic Medium Roast. I bring it back from Aussie. See, I've got cheap taste in coffees. I've been using the Great Taste over here, but I've moved to Nescafe recently. I assumed that the Great Taste was just like a cheap and cheerful one, but it's actually cheaper than the Nescafe. Yeah, I just have Nescafe Black in the mornings. Frankly, Brian, Ellen, God bless her, she's decided to come and sit next to us and play music.
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
Pencil was trying to play with this placement.
Well, she can do. Frankie Bryan,
She can
cheers.
do.
Fraser, sign. Well, I'll move it. There you go. We're just going to lift the camera up because the cat is trying to play with the mat that's underneath it. Ellen loves the cat, doesn't like the dog, but she adores the cat. Amazing. When I first bought her back, she told me to get it out of the house. Now it's her baby. Yeah, Cheers was brilliant. Fraser, love Fraser. Yeah, see, my memory's terrible. Larry Sanders Show, fantastic. My God, there are been some incredibly funny American shows. I take it back. Yeah, you're right. Cheers, Fraser. I think I preferred Fraser to Cheers. I know not many people did, but they're both really good. Seinfeld by far better than those. Larry Sanders Show was quality, absolute quality. I might watch another one of those. That's timeless. I watch them on YouTube from time to time. They're very good. Mike Thompson, there was a line in Smith and Jones that ended up being used by academics. Is that right? Planet Jonesy, cheers, was a great show. Yeah, cheers, Jonesy. Thanks for joining us, mate. Enjoy your Moccona Classic. Have one for me. And we'll all raise one for Paul. I'll raise a Diet Coke, you mate, on your 1 year screening. Well done, mate. Paul robotic whole thing. Took the whole thing out. And it was robotic, was it? Wow. Mind boggles. Scamper 2, NAS Cafe and instant coffees have other chemicals in it, anti-mold, this is so you're better off just getting coffee beans and grinding yourself. Yeah, I know. My mother always bangs on because she loves her filter coffee. She tries to tell me that there's mashed potato makes up a large percentage of instant coffee, and I'm like, okay, is mashed potato bad for you? I don't have a problem. Like I could give her, if there's mashed potato in it. Yeah, I just can't be bothered with the effort. I mean, filter coffee is nicer, without a doubt. But buying the beans and grinding them, and again, I mean, I did. When I was in the UK, I'd have the coffee maker on all the time, and I drank just as much filter coffee as I do instant coffee. And yeah, it's better. I just, when I was living in Thailand, I developed a taste for instant coffee. Scamper, voice to text. So I hope that works. Planet Jones, Beverly Hillbillies. Planet Jones, I thought you'd gone. Planet Jones, are you back? Yeah. Dated. I mean, at the time, I say at the time, it's before my time. But a lot of these things reran on Channel 4. It's like the Munsters and the Addams Family. I used to like the Munsters. I mean, obviously, well before our time. Tell you what was good from that period, Sergeant Bilko. That was good. Of that era, I think, me personally, Sergeant Bilko was the best. Green Acres, I can't find the like button. Something changed on this end. Well, very sorry to hear that, but I really appreciate the fact you were looking for it. Can't help you on that one. Now you've said that, I'm looking on my phone, and I can't see a like button on mine. On my laptop, it's under the screen. You can just like it just like that. Yeah, strange. They don't make these things easy, do they? I mean, YouTube and Google's the worst. When you look on Google and you ask, how do I do something? Like I was trying to add Gcash to my Lazada account. And if you Google it and it says, go to the icon in the top right-hand corner and, do this and that. So I looked, there was no icon in the top right corner. After half an hour of pissing about, I gave it to Ellen to do. And she couldn't do it. And then she Googled it again and it said, you can't add Gcash to Lazada. So what the hell, it's like, the instructions they'll give you, Microsoft's the same. Go to your account, go to this. It's in the right bottom. It's in the bottom. It's not. They never are. Useless. Frankie Bryan, do you take any supplements or watch your diet, e.g. avoiding UPF and sugar? No, I don't take any supplements. And I don't really watch my diet until I am going to do now. because I am putting on weight. I can't, as Paul knows, I can't fit in a lot of my Fred Perry's. I can still fit in my Lacoste, but I can't fit in a lot of the clothes I bought out over here. And that has always been the way I control my weight. I always buy things in mediums, and that's when I know I'm putting on weight, and that's when I got to lose it. But no, I don't thought. Well, I've never because I in the past I've been quite good at losing weight, struggling a bit as I get older, but I'm not really trying. But I am going to try now. But when I do, I just eat less. I know it's going to sound like, obvious, but, a lot of people that, I know some people, they will eat foods that are healthier and they'll, less calories and all that. I tend not to. I tend to eat the same things. I just eat less of them, because I think I've always found in the past, after a few days of eating less, your stomach shrinks and then you're less hungry, you want less. So, the only diet I've ever done, I did an Atkins diet a few years ago and that worked. I think it's very good for you just eating, not having vegetables and things. But yeah, exercise and eating less are the things for me. Like, for example, I'll make a sandwich here, not the healthiest. I'll do like a hot dog and a fried egg. The sandwiches are very small here, so I tend to have like 2 sandwiches. I think that's probably the equivalent to one sandwich, full-size sandwich in the UK. But yeah, I just have one sandwich. I used to cook 2 sausages and 2 fried eggs. I just have one sausage and one. You know what I mean? So I don't eat particularly healthily. I just eat less of it. Where have we gone? Mike Thompson, a flange of gorillas as the name for a group of them. Yeah, flange of gorillas. I've done rounds on that before. Collectives, you get some very strange collectives. Parliament and Owls, a flamboyance of flamingos, a murder of crows. I did not know a flange was gorillas. I know it's a troop of monkeys. That could be a question. That I could pop that in next week's quiz. Kong Farrell, it's easy. It takes 30 seconds to grind your beans. Yeah, I know. Like, I wouldn't even grind them. I'd probably buy the ground ones. But yeah, it's not something I miss. Elico, all good now. I'm glad you're all good now. Planet Jonesy, I do like a good plunge coffee. Yeah, that's how I always used to do it. I had the old cafe, what do you call them? Cafeteria. I'd use those. But then I got a machine and then I moved away from that. But yeah, my parents, whenever I go back, they still use the old plunger. But yeah, I used to have a coffee maker, put the old ground coffee in the morning, put the water in and that, and drink that through the day. When I was in the Gulf, I drank a hell of a lot. The American brothers did love that. They'd always have the old coffee maker on the go and you just pour it out. But I find you drink more coffee that way. That's the trouble. You're not going to make enough for just one coffee, are you? You end up filling it up and you keep going back to it. Logo, yes, I grind my beans also. I think a lot of Americans do because they sell a lot of the ground, but I think you can grind them in LB Hype when you go there. You can buy the beans, but I think they've got a grinding machine as well where you just put them in and fill it up. So I could do that. Scamper2 says it's because you've got it on portrait, you can't see anything. That's probably it. I haven't got it on portrait. YouTube's got me on portrait. So I set my phone up, I put it on horizontal. Everything is all set to go horizontal, but for some reason YouTube's not letting me. I could turn it around in video. So yeah, you're right, I am there, but it's not through choice. I will try and get landscape on the next one. Elico, I found the like button and smashed it. God bless you, Elico. Much appreciated. I think I noticed that I'm behind on the chat, but a few minutes ago our hearts signs went up. So I think that was you. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Planet Jonesy, 2 boiled eggs and a coffee in the morning for me. See, I don't really have breakfast, but that's quite a healthy one. I eat a lot of eggs when I go back. My parents have got a farm, and they got a lot of chickens and geese. So I often have geese eggs and chicken eggs for breakfast. They do like their eggs, but they tend to poach them. Nice poached egg in the morning. Nothing wrong with that. I do like a boiled egg. I like a fried egg. I have a phobia of which is ridiculous, really. I have a phobia of runny yolks. Cannot stand runny yolks. Can't look at them. Can't think about them. Thinking about them now is making me retch a little bit. So if I have a fried egg, first thing I do, as soon as it gets in the pan, I break the yolk, turn it over, no problem. Boiled eggs are good for me as long as they're hard boiled. I made some Scotch eggs a few weeks ago, and someone was telling me they were making them the other day, but they worked out how to make them while the yolks are nice and runny. God forbid, I do not want that. Do not want to see that. And apparently it's quite a common phobia. It's not just me. But Ellen likes her eggs sunny side up. So when we go out for cooked breakfast, I have to look away. Can't look at it. Puts me off my meal. Paul 8612. They used to say too many eggs were bad for you. You shouldn't have more than a few eggs a week. But when I told Mother that last time I was back, she made a point of showing me all the research. There's nothing wrong with having an egg every day, apparently now. So there you go. Paul 8612. Gret shirts in the flashbacks you put out on your video last week. Oh yeah. I was that was back in my. I was a lot thinner then, wasn't I was a lot thinner. Said that to Ellen, but Ellen has decided, and I think she's probably right. A lot of people, when I was that thin, used to say to me I was too thin. Now I know I'm too fat because I can't fit my shirts. But I asked Ellen, and she can be quite hard. I said, don't break my heart. I said, should I try and go back to what I was, or should I look for somewhere in the middle? And I think her consensus, and most of the people I've friends and family over the years have said, go somewhere in the middle. So I'm not going to try and get back to as thin as I was when I first came over here. But somewhere in between. I need to be able to fit in my Fred Perry's though. Because if you start buying large stuff, there's no going back. Mike Thompson, it's not. It comes from Smith and Jones. What does? You've lost me there, Mike. What comes from Smith and Jones? I'll quickly scroll back up again. But the trouble is, when I go looking for trying to work out what people are talking about, I lose complete control of the. Cheers was a great show. Can you? Yeah, sorry. Can you elaborate on that, please, Mike? I'm lost. Oh, well, there you go. Now I've just got. Now I know what we're talking about. Scamper, might not be the coffee that gives you the headache. It might be the cheap stuff with the chemicals in it. Like I said, anti-mold agents is about 3 or 4. Go freeze dried if you want instant. Yeah, it could be. It could be nothing to do with that whatsoever. It could be. I mean, that's the trouble. You never really know. As I say, over the years, I've avoided certain things. For many, many years, didn't eat much chocolate, didn't eat much cheese because some doctor had convinced me it was that. And it was nothing to do with that at all. It's like in Thailand, whenever you go to the doctors, anything they'll put it down to coffee without even asking how much coffee you drink. We'll never know, mate. I mean, the way my migraines usually are, touch wood, I used to get them in clusters. I get 3 or 4 over a couple of weeks. I now probably average 1 every 6 months. So, I'll cut down on the coffee and they may stop. And I'll never know if it was because I cut down on the coffee or because it was because they just stopped anyway. You know what I mean? Planet Jonesy, I do like a good cigar. Now I'm living in Bali. They are cheap and good quality. Yeah, I like a good cigar. And they don't have to be great quality. When I lived in Siem Reap, they used to do these really cheap ones. They were cherry ones. You get them, and they were like licorice cherry. And I loved those. And they were very cheap. And it's like, I wasn't spoken because they were cheap. I'm just saying I enjoyed those more than some of the more expensive cigars I've had. I can't remember what they called. Tried to get them in Thailand, but they didn't have them. Couldn't find them because there's a place, a Chinese market in Thailand, in Pattaya, where they do a big range of cigars. A lot of cigar shops now in Pattaya. I like a good cigar, but I don't think I've ever had any that I enjoyed as much as those cheap. I think they were like $2 for 2 or something. These are licorice ones, cherry licorice. They were lovely. Elico, Planet Jonesy, same here. 2 boiled eggs, coffee. Also doing avocado and fruit smoothies. Yeah, we got avocados at the moment. Yeah, Ellen's into avocado smoothies. When we went back to her house for the fiesta the other week, we bought a big bag of avocados back. They were lovely. Fortunately, we took so many, we never finished them in time. They didn't keep long. But yeah, now is the time to get avocados in the Philippines. But unfortunately, it only lasts for a couple of months. Then they're gone again. Mike Thompson, they are a troop or a band. Yeah, now I get the flange being, yeah, I know what you mean now. That was Smith and Jones. Are they a troop? I know a troop is a troop of monkeys, but gorillas aren't monkeys, they're apes. I think isn't there a separate one for gorillas? Probably not flange, as you said, that was a joke, but I'm not sure a group of gorillas is a troop or a band. It might be a band, it's not a troop, that's monkeys. Ellico, Scotch eggs. They are, yeah, Scotch eggs. I'm guessing you're not British. They are a British delicacy. It is a boiled egg wrapped in pork, minced pork, but really finely minced pork, like a pate, and coated in breadcrumbs and roasted in the ovens. And done well with a good mayonnaise, they are delicious. Planet Jonesy, mate, you're not fat. I appreciate you saying that, Jonesy. I really do, mate. But I'm overweight. My body's deceptive. I might not look it now, but I've got a bit of a. Always had love handles. Even back in my boxing days when I was fit as a butcher's dog, always had love handles. I had a six-pack, but I had love handles. They weren't big love handles, but yeah, just my body shape. So yeah, take my top off. I'm not nice to look at. But appreciate that, Matt, mate. I suppose it depends on your definition of fat. I got fat, I say very deceptive, my body. I remember going to see the doctor many moons ago, and I got well, my doctor. And he said, I'm just going to do a fat intake. And he said, you're obese. I find that very hard to believe. You don't look like you are, but I was obese. But I got out of a mate waiting in the car, Welsh guy, and I said, I'm obese. I need to lose some weight. And he said, why do you say that? I said, the doctor said I was. He said, he can't have said that to you. I said, he did say that. Why would he not have said that? He said, that's a strange thing for a doctor to say. I didn't think they could say that. I'm sitting there thinking, why would he say a doctor can't say I'm obese? He just did my BMI. I lost a bit of weight straight away. And a couple of weeks afterwards, the same guy said to me, he said, why are you on a diet? I said, because I told you I've got to lose weight. He said, but the doctor said he didn't have to. He said, you were a beast. He said, I'm all right. He thought the doctor said I was a beast, as in like, a beast as in really good shape. Had never heard the term obese, would you believe? There you go. But thank you, Jonesy. Paul 8612. A scene in Seinfeld berates George Costanza for wearing track pants. So you've given up on life. Seinfeld was good. George Costanza. I think the best character was Seinfeld's dad. No, not Seinfeld's. I'm getting them mixed up. Seinfeld's dad was brilliant in King of Queens. He played her dad, didn't he? He was fantastic character. Mike Thompson, 3-1 now, 17 minutes to go. There you go, Paraguay making a fist of it. 7 minutes to go. They're not gonna claw that back, are they? Although it can be done, it has happened. Ellico, the Scotch eggs sound good. Never had that. I'm in the States. Yeah, no, Scotch eggs are nice. So I made some a few months ago and they weren't bad. They weren't as good as a quality. You get gourmet Scotch eggs now in the UK. I've seen them in a few butchers, like they've got them there. But yeah, you should try them. Very easy to make. Just get a packet of breadcrumbs, make your bread packs yourself. Make some mince some pork up, buy some minced pork. Boil some eggs. I recommend you hard boil them though. You coat them, whack them in the air fryer. They're good in about 12, 15 minutes. I made some a few weeks ago, knowing Ellen would hate them because she doesn't like any of my British stuff. She actually loved them. She really liked them, so do them again. I was surprised by that. Because she doesn't really like, she has very much Filipino tastes, which is fair enough. She's a Filipino. Yellown 59. Welcome to the chat, Yellown. Simon, are you getting much rain in Dumaguete? Not much. We had some rain last week or towards the end of the week before. It had rained very briefly this morning, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. We've had more than we've, because it's been very dry the last couple of months in the dry season. But yeah, it really rained a couple of weeks ago, and I thought the rainy season was upon us because it's supposed to be June. but it hasn't really rained since, so it's a bit of a slow starter. Planet Jonesy, I hated the show called The Nanny. Bloody stupid. The Nanny. That rings a bell. Trying to think who was in that. Can't have been great because I can't really remember it. Planet Jonesy, big rain here last night in Bali. Weren't you leaving a little while ago, Planet Jonesy? I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you stayed. I'm getting you mixed up with someone else. I'm wondering if you stayed because we stopped talking about British sitcoms. Your Lawn 59, Simon, when you walk along the boulevard in Dumaguete near the ocean, do you notice any sewage smell? I've heard the sewage may be discharged into the ocean water. Dumaguete, you can pick up some strange smells from time to time. I've never known why it's quite so desirable to live on the Dumaguete seafront because the ocean is not the prettiest. Mind you, last night we walked along it was quite pleasant, nice cool breeze coming in. I have noticed a smell from time to time walking along the boulevard, but whether that's sewage from the sea or whether that's because they haven't emptied the bins in the city, you know, who knows? But occasionally I have noticed a smell. I wouldn't be surprised if they emptied sewage in there. A lot of countries they emptied sewage into the sea, which is unfortunate. That's why I don't eat crabs. I used to fish back in the day, and whatever disgusting thing you put on the bait, ragworm and things like that, horrible creatures, ragworm, you chuck it in, you'd invariably bring it back up your bait, and you've got crabs and things hanging off. And, you know, you always get crabs around sewage, which is why I'm not a fan of eating crabs, because you are basically eating the most unpleasant things in the ocean transformed into crab flesh or crab meat. Might not apply, you know, obviously your snow crabs and your crabs out in the ocean. I mean, a lobster, yeah, they're further out and that, but crabs around here, any coastline, I tend to avoid. Plus, there's no meat on a crab, and it's really difficult to get it out. Saying that, there was a place in Pattaya which had a wonderful crab curry. Used to be on top. It used to be. I don't know if you know Pattaya. If anyone knows Pattaya, where the old beer garden used to be, there was a complex used to be there on the top floor above the beer bars, and there was a restaurant at the front there. Did a fabulous crab curry. I used to blind my mind what the crabs had eaten because the curry was so good. Elico 6332. I love Kramer and Seinfeld and George's dad. Yeah, was it George's dad? George's dad was the same dad as Kings and Queens, wasn't it? Yeah, fantastic character. Yeah, same one. It's the same actor in both, playing basically the same role. Fantastic. Yeah, Kramer's the best. Kramer and George's dad are by far the best characters in those. Does anyone like Curb Your Enthusiasm? I mentioned that earlier on, Larry David, and no one picked up on that. No one in the chat a fan of that. I think it's a brilliant show. Frankly, Brian, when did you first pick up on Seinfeld? Was it in the mid-90s? Late night double bill with Larry Sanders on BBC Two. No, I think I picked Seinfeld up in the 2000s, I think, because I was in the Air Force in the 90s. I don't ever remember watching that in the Air Force. I do remember watching it a lot in Leicester, and I was Leicester from 2000 to 2014. So, yeah. I say I was Leicester. I had houses in Leicester, but I lived a lot of time in Holland and a lot of time in Sweden during that period. So yeah, but yeah, 2000, I think, for me, Seinfeld. I used to have a T-shirt which had Costanza's face on it, and it said "The Jerk Store called. They're running out of you." That's one of the funniest episodes. That is. I used to love that T-shirt. Don't know what happened to it. Scammer, of course, the Boulevard looks good at night time with the lights. You just can't see all the other crap like you can in daytime. Yeah, it could be true. Paul, have you ever been to Japan? No, I haven't been to Japan, mate. Really wanted to go. It was an ambition of mine to go to Japan back in the day. It was the country I most wanted to go to in the world at one stage. When I was younger. Now, zero interest in going there, and it never happened. I was planning to go to Japan. I was going to travel Southeast Asia. And I started off in Thailand, and my plan was to end up in Japan. But I fell in love with Thailand, and I never made it. My traveling around Southeast Asia never really took off. Went to Cambodia, went to Malaysia. Now I'm in the Philippines. You know, I never made it to Japan. Wouldn't want to now. Art Park Garden. Oh my God, he's actually doing a live during civilized hours. Look what the cat dragged in. Hello, Art Park. Welcome on board, mate. Glad you could make it. Our lives are always better when you're in the house, mate. Christopher Meany's in the house. Chris, how are you, brother? There you go. This is why, welcome to the chat. This is why I'm trying this time. See if, because I love my regular Wednesday crew. They're all fantastic, but I'm well aware that there are a number of subscribers who can never make it because it's out of hours. So I thought I would try Saturday morning and see who it suited. And this may well become a regular thing. Chris Meany, the assignment, I sent 3 comments. I see him on my phone, but I don't see him on the live yet. I sent them somewhere to your channel. Give you 2,000 plus hype points, bro. Hype. I always appreciate the hype points, mate. Always do. Thank you very much. That's glad you could make it. Elico, yes, Curb Your Enthusiasm is hilarious. Yeah, it was Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David's fantastic in that. Just going to read Christopher's again because I'm struggling to make sense of it, which is my fault. My eyes are getting tired. The assignment, I sent 3 comments. I see him on my phone, but I don't see him on the live yet. I sent them somewhere on your channel. Give you the 2,000 plus hype. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Planet Jonesy. I loved the bill at first, but it got silly by the end of it. The bill was good to start off with, but that wasn't a comedy, was it? But it was a comedy by the end. Frankly, Brian, yeah, I'm a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. Larry David, having been co-creator of Seinfeld, yeah, he was. In Curb LD gets a hard time, but I often think he's in the right. Yeah, he is. Oh, Elico, $5. Thank you so much, Elico. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Never expected. Never. Thank you. It's yeah. Thank you. Much appreciated. Very generous of you. Thank you. Smithy 59 PWS. I Shepherd's Pie. Greetings. Oi Savaloy Smithy. Welcome to the chat. Whereabouts in America are you, Elico? Apologies if I've asked you that before, but I talk to so many people on the chats and I'm an old boy, so I do get confused. Does this work for the people who are in the chat now? Does this work for you? Because I was thinking of doing a 9 a.m. chat. 9 o'clock might be a bit early for me, but I thought I'm not going to say it's going to be a 7 or 8. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm not. But I would like to schedule a Saturday chat to catch the people who can't make it, you know, for obvious reasons, to my 7 p.m. one, Philippine times, during the week. But we seem to be getting more people the later I go. So maybe 9 o'clock's too late. Maybe I should be doing a 10 o'clock or 11. I would very much welcome your input. What time would work best for the majority of people? Art Park Garden, I get a kick out of Curb Your comedy. It's kind of subtle at times, but hilarious. It's very good, and it's very groundbreaking because it's not scripted. Most of it's ad libs, which is why I find it funny. And you can tell they're ad libbing a lot of the time because they get louder or they pause and they're taking things on board. I mean, it does follow a loose script, but I mean, Larry David saying, you know, they know roughly what they're going to talk about and they know the scenarios, but it evolves and it's, you know, it's ad lib, which I think adds to the comedy. Because you can see a lot of the time, you know, someone will say a comment and I want to think, why the hell did he say that? You know, it's and you can see him trying not to laugh and things, or looks of confusion. Haven't watched as many Curb Your Enthusiasms as I should do. A lot of series, I've seen them all over and over again, but I think about the series 10 of Curb, I haven't watched it in a long time. It is a good series. Frankly, Brian, have you seen When Ricky Gervais Met Larry David, A Meeting of Great Minds? Yes, I have. That was a great interview. I've watched that a couple of times. Yeah, it really was. As Ricky says, he built a lot of his characters, a lot of his comedy around Larry David. So Surprisingly, I suppose quality is better than quantity because it's only really Seinfeld and Curb that I know of Larry David, and I'm sure he must have been a screenwriter for lots of other things or a comedy writer or whatever, but I'm not sure what. Um, Paul8612, I always forgot about Wednesdays due to the distractions via the week. Memory issues already. Yeah, we all get memory issues, mate. You know, it is par for the course, mate. Never a day goes by when I don't go in the kitchen to get something or do something and think, what the hell am I here for? What have I come in for? Don't forget the lives because they've come into my routine. I remember a guy on another channel was saying the other week, trying to think what his channel was called now. Stephen, I think his name is. I've mentioned him in my last couple of lives. He was saying how he likes to be spontaneous. He doesn't like routines. I mean, my grandfather used to go and visit him, and he was so set in his routines. I'd be travelling up to see him, and I say I'll get there at so and so time, and I say, well, come later than that because I'm going to the market. It's market day. I said, well, can't you go a bit later, a bit early? So I always go at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday to Boston Market and stuff like that. And I'd be like, well, would it kill you if you didn't? You know, why do these things have to be at certain days and certain times? But as I get older, I get it. You know, Stephen was saying how he likes to be spontaneous. He doesn't like his routines. I can relate to that. I mean, we were spontaneous last night in the sense that Ellen decided she wanted to have this cheese and toast thing, and they went to a coffee shop. We might decide we're going to go there, or do something. We are moderately spontaneous. But I do like the fact that we have a routine as well. I like the fact Wednesdays is live at a certain time. The quiz on a Monday and Thursday. It is, you know, as I get older, I think most older people do. They develop routines and they like them. But not everyone. We're all different. Planet Jonesy, Ricky Gervais is brilliant. Yeah, Ricky Gervais is brilliant. He's a very, very talented comedian. Art Park Garden is about 7:50 p.m. West Coast. It's a good weekday time for LA, for live. Okay, I will bear that in mind. So probably we'll aim at either 9 or 10 going forward. Might try 10 next week. But then again, if we don't get 10, we might miss people like Loco. But I mean, it's only you come on and Chris and that come on. We'll see. We'll see. Got to suck it and see. And I might go into town. I might do it from sideways. You know, go and have a breakfast and do that. That might become another part of my routine. Where am I gone? Colm Farrell works for me. Glad to hear it, Colm. Frankly, Brian, change of tone, Simon, regarding the culture wars. Have you ever met a woman who used her resources to raise a man up? Yeah. There's a couple of people in my family, my aunt and uncle. Well, not raise a man up, but he worked basically for free most of his life. He was involved in a charity called the Institute of Race Relations, and he took a very moderate salary from that because she had a really good job. She subsidised him. I've had a couple of friends who jacked in their jobs and went back to university, you know, as mature students, and the wife was the breadwinner. Do I know someone who's married someone who... See, it's going to sound funny now, but I come from an intellectual family in the sense that both my stepbrothers have got PhDs. You know, there's not anyone in my family, I don't think, as in terms of cousins, aunts and uncles that didn't go to university and do a degree. The vast majority of my family, like my mother's side, they're all teachers or lecturers. So that they've been more, certainly in my family, money's not been a real factor. You know, they're more into, I don't mean that in a, you know, in a bragging way or whatever, but certainly when I was growing up, you know, there was more, I don't know, kudos to a PhD than there would be to earning a couple of $100,000 a year or having a, you know, when I went and started running my businesses and things, you know, when I first came out of the Air Force, everyone was like, why don't you go back to university and do your masters? I said, no, I want to start a business and that. And they could never get it. you know, that I was so money orientated, because I was. Trust me, for about 14 years before I went to Thailand, I was all about the buck. You know, I had a finger in every pie. That was me. And then when I divorced from my ex, I questioned it and I thought I'd take a few months off, and there was no going back. So I went to Vegas because I had some business interests out there. And after 6 months, I thought I can't be doing with this anymore. And I went to Thailand. I thought I'll regroup, and then I've never really worked since. I mean, it's like, you know, I don't chase money now. So that was a long answer. So what I'm saying is there have been lots of instances in my friends and family where the woman has been the major breadwinner. Like my aunt, she has a really good job. She was a highly paid lecturer at one of the prestigious universities, and she subsidised him for most of his life. You know, because they thought the charity meant something. You know, and I say I've got several friends. So I don't know. Is that's not really take what you're getting at? Is do I know a successful woman? I imagine who has met a guy who was unemployed and supported him. No, probably not. But then again, in my Sweden, when I married my wife there, her father, he was a teacher by trade, but he couldn't get a teaching job for some reason. No, he'd worked on the railways and he'd been made redundant, and he wanted to teach. And he didn't have a job for about all the 10 years I knew him, 11 years I knew him, didn't have a job. And you know, there was no pressure on him to do it. His wife was teaching; she was the breadwinner. It used to amaze me when he went to the job interviews there, because he had to go to the job centre and things. They would ask him if he wanted to do, and he didn't want to be a cleaner, and he didn't want to, you know, all the jobs they would no doubt try and force you in the UK. There was no pressure to in Sweden. They were like wanted him to find a job that he wanted to do, something that was fulfilling, and he wanted to teach. But because of his age, he was quite old and didn't have a lot of teaching experience. He rarely got any work. He worked as a substitute occasionally. And from what I could see from the outside, the wife was happy, you know, being the breadwinner, and there was no effort to get him off benefits and do a job he didn't want to do, which I thought was lovely. But I'm pretty sure if you tried that in the UK, you know, they'd be sending you to McDonald's or whatever, and if you couldn't get a job, they'd be taking your benefits away. Was not the way in Sweden. Anyway, that was a long answer, wasn't it? Eleko, memory only gets worse. I'm 62, I think. Eleko, Frank, I'm still looking for that woman. To be honest with you, I do get the impression it's more a thing in America. I have read and seen many things that a university educated woman with a degree is incredibly unlikely to date or marry a man who doesn't have a degree, or is incredibly unlikely to date or marry a man who doesn't earn more than her. I don't think that's the same in the UK. I don't think it ever was. It might be now. I don't know. I mean, I've not lived there in a long time, and I've not dated in the UK for 14 years plus. Maybe it's a thing, I don't know. But America, don't take this the wrong way, from what I've seen, and certainly in my time living in Vegas, but Vegas is a very materialistic place. They seem to be a lot more materialistic than your typical European. Generalizing, I know, but I do think that's the case. You can only generalize really in life. Frankie Bryan, have you bumped into Scotty Boy, who now seems to be broadcasting live from Sideways at most days? Funny you should say that. He's upset a couple of the staff on there. He put one of the girls at work, so I won't mention her name, on one of the thumbnails, and she didn't know he was live in, and she's super pissed off about that. No, I haven't bumped into him. Don't really go out during the day. Don't go to Sideways during the days. Not sure why he's live in from there. I think his favourite haunt used to be, or the few times I've seen him live, it used to be Fibber McGee's. I know he has live streamed from Sideways once. I didn't know it become a regular thing. Power to him. But no, I've not bumped into him. Last time I bumped into him was at up at the Henry Resort, and I've mentioned him in I don't think he's happy with some of the things I said in the channel, because it wasn't a hello, how you doing, blah, but it was like hi, just straight off. But that's Scotty Boy. He's an unusual fish. Planet Jonesy, got to go now, mate. Heading to the gym. Great live show. Ciao. Yep. Don't work too hard, mate. Don't strain anything. Scamper, sometimes it's the exception, not the rule. Yep. Frankie Bryan, are you the black sheep then? Funny you should say that. My parents raised black sheep. That's what they got. Welsh Black Mountains are they got a sheep farm, and Welsh Black Mountains are their sheep. So I'm one of many black sheep in that thing. But yeah, in many ways I am, mate. Yeah, in many ways I am. Frankly, Brian, good to hear, but very rare. Where I am in Hong Kong. Yeah, well, I suppose in Hong Kong, yeah, again, that strikes me as being I've never been. So I'm talking out my hat, proverbial hat, as they say. But I think China, I've been to China, as you watch the channel, you know, I got kicked out of China. Strikes me as a very materialistic place, China, very materialistic culture. And Hong Kong, I imagine, is very much the same. So I'm not surprised to hear that, mate. But I say, just a stereotype, you know, it might not be the case. Paul, can you imagine a culture where people get their leg bones cut for extensions to improve their wealth opportunities? Which culture is that then? Where is that? I think I've heard that before, but I don't know where that is, or if it's a real thing or not. Please elaborate. Right, I'm gonna. You've got a couple of minutes to elaborate. I'm gonna finish my coke, and then I'm gonna call it a day, chaps. Because trouble is, I get carried away. I enjoy the streams, I really do, and I've looked, and I've been on for an hour and 36 minutes. Some people are going to complain later in the comments. You talk too long, cut your lives down. Only do half an hour. To which I say, I'll do as long as I want. Thank you very much. Don't tell me how to do my lives. But I'm trying to be productive. I've decided to try and get a few more things done. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing a live. If I can set a live that I've got to get up at a certain time, do certain things, then it gets me up and about. And I've got some gardening to do, which I hate doing, but it's got to be done because the dog has vandalised the front garden. And I got to take Ellen up to Valencia. She wants to buy some soil for the potted plants. And I've got some editing to do because I've got a couple of vlogs I want to get out. So, yeah, I need to get some breakfast down me. I don't really eat breakfast. I've been up since 7 and I've not eaten anything yet. I tend to have like a brunch. I'm more a brunch guy, but I need to eat something. I'm getting peckish. And I need to get some things done, so I'm going to knock it on the head shortly. Paul, China. Wow. Do they really do that? They can't. I'm sure some people must. I mean, I know it's a thing in its sense, some people must do it. It can't be commonplace, can it? Wow. Mike Thompson, 4-1 full time. Well, that is a big win. That is a big win. Elko, unusual fish, LOL. I really enjoy hearing those language differences. Thanks, Simon. Pleasure, mate. Yeah, it's a strange fish. It's an unusual fish. It's one of my idioms. It's not. I didn't invent it. There aren't. It is an expression. One of what I do like is mad as a box of frogs. I love that expression. He's as mad as a box of frogs. Scamper. In other words, on your bike. LOL. Frankly, Brian, in your experience, which countries' females have invested most in their appearance? Oh God, hard to say. Not something I've given any thought to. Wouldn't be the Philippines. The lady boy spent. I remember saying to Ellen one time when we were having a chat, why is it when you go to like places like Why Not, which I very rarely do, why is it that the lady boys seem to be the best looking there? And as she said, and a couple of Filipino women said to me, it's because they spend all day doing their makeup. And the lady boys really do stand out over here, whereas most of the women here won't bother. They'll jump on the bike and go out. So it wouldn't be the Philippines. Wouldn't be Thailand. Wouldn't be the UK. Wouldn't be Sweden, but it depends where you are. I mean, in London now, my God, everyone seems to spend their time getting their nails done and their hair done in certain parts of London. So, I mean, it changes. I mean, nail shops weren't really a thing when I grew up. My God, they're everywhere now in the high streets in the UK. So it changes. Might be America. Didn't spend enough time in China to know. That's an interesting question. I have to think about that. Trouble is, when the live finishes, I think, no, wait a minute. I will think about that, and on the next live, I will tell you my thoughts. But yeah, that's a good question. Art park gardening is good for the body and the mind. Well, with an art park garden, with a candlelight art park garden, I'm not surprised you say that. I'm not joking. The bloody dog. We've got we haven't really got a garden here, but there's a front bit where it's like ornate, shall we say, and you've got like the gravel and the stones over the top of it, like bleach stones. Bloody dog keeps digging into them and tunneling down underground. He throws the stones everywhere, and it's a nightmare trying to get the soil back and not bury the stones at the same time. But then Ellen, God bless her, came up with a genius idea that just got a message there. Dinner reserved for 7 o'clock. We're all going out for dinner. A few friends tonight, going out for steak night. I'm going to take all the stones off, and I'm going to wash the stones, and she's going to bleach them or do something, and that way it's going to be a lot easier to put the earth back in. And if the dog does it again, I'm going to drive him up to the mountains and dump him. I'm not going to do that, but he better not do it again. He's done it for you because it's an awful mess. And one of the most attractive things about this place when we rented it was it doesn't really have much of a garden. It's just got flower beds along the sides. Flower beds there where Ellen plants are, well, you call them eggplants. We call it, or a lot of people, I call them aubergines. Why doesn't the dog, I wouldn't give a toss if the dog dug up the eggplants or things. That's Ellen's problem. But he keeps digging up the bloody ornate parts. Paul 8612, the Vickers Knickers. I've never heard that expression before. Carl Sebastian, hello Carl, how are you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. You've arrived a little bit too late, mate, but welcome. We're about to log off. We can watch it in replay. Paul, hello, Paul. Paul's a resident of Dumaguete. He lives up in Valencia. Good to keep yourself busy. I just joined in for a few minutes ago as I popped over to the USA for a couple of weeks back in time for Justin's party on the 4th. Which Justin? Yeah, I know you're back, mate. I hope you're having a good time. You mentioned that in the in the comments the other day. Yeah, I hope things go well for you. Yeah. Enjoy your journey back and a safe journey back to the UK. Frankly, Brian, in Korea, you have loads of plastic surgery and desire to have pale skin. Likewise in Japan, Hong Kong. Oh, the white skin's a big thing everywhere. It's massive in Thailand. They're, you know, God, everyone's got like bleaching creams and soaps and all that. It's quite a big thing in the Philippines, but not as much as it is in Thailand, I don't think, based on my experience. I think it is in most Asian countries. I think the perception is that if you're dark-skinned, you must have menial labour. You've got to be a labourer or peasant. I think that's why they want to look white, paler, because it means you don't have to work outside. That's what I've been led to believe is the thinking behind it. It's bloody silly. But there you go, up to them. Ellico, US women use so much makeup. Yeah, I'd say off the top of my head, I think America would be the place. America would be the place for me. But I might think of somewhere else I've been to and change my mind after that. But off the top of my head, I'd say America is the most is the place where women seem to spend the most of their time on their makeup that I have lived. Right, I'm going to knock it on the head, fellas. Now I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for the incredibly generous super chat, Ellico. It was much appreciated. Thank you for everyone who has taken the time to join us. I say it's a shame you didn't join. You joined so late, Kyle. Oh, Paul, Justin, Critter Republic, 4th of July, All American Party at his resort, US, bloody boggin Americans, ha ha ha. Why don't you have any French people there, mate? They won you the war. If it hadn't been for them, you'd still be a colony. Should invite some French people as well. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Funny enough, the 4th of July is not something we celebrate in the UK. And yeah, I thought that might be the Justin you mean. There you go. Peace out, Ellico. Yeah, enjoy everyone. Have a great weekend, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I really appreciate you, everyone that's joined the chat. If you haven't smashed the like button, it'd be fantastic if you did. But you have given me a great start to my Saturday day, and you have energized me to do lots of things. Carl Sebastian, see you soon. Until next time. Yeah, all the best, Kyle. Yeah, bye everyone. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be great if you did. If you haven't smashed the like button, it'd be great if you did. But whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe and be lucky.